The good news is they say that the vaccine will be able to deal with the new strain. Shouldn't be a problem with that. And I would like to think that we've all learned something about how to handle the pandemic. And I certainly think that public health authorities and governments have become a bit more aware of what to do. I mean, you're seeing with this lockdown, you're already seeing governments across the country, including across the world, including in Canada here, locking down borders, flights from the UK right off. Which was not what happened at the beginning of the first pandemic.
So I want to talk about that. So yes, recently the government announced that they're going to stop flights from the UK due to the second variant. Where was the flight lockdown in January? We didn't have it. In fact, to this day, flights have been landing all the time. Early days when the US closed the border to flights from China, Canada didn't. No. We in fact have welcomed them up too. So now we're closing flights from the UK. I found that very strange.
Suspending flights, but yes.
Suspended.
Yeah. We are. It's an interesting time because I think what you're seeing is there's a difference between how things are being done and how they were done before. So maybe that's one of the things that we've learned. That the health minister said at the beginning, closing our borders can sometimes be detrimental to the health response. Now you're seeing that it's being locked down. So that's a change in approach. So there's that.
Well, for me, the thing that sticks out most is, okay, so we had the first lockdown in March, April, and Canadians we're very trusting people. We put our trust in the authorities, that they knew best or they know best, and we abide by those rules, and we locked down, and we were in this together and taking one for the team, and we all did that. But quickly we've seen that trust eroded. And now when we hear about this province is locking down and we're going to keep the Walmarts open, but not the mom and pop shop, and when we've had small businesses on the show discussing their concerns, when we see an ununiform application of lockdowns, sometimes I have to ask myself, is the cure worse than the disease?
Well, I mean, I think you look at the number of people who died and the tragedy that's been brought on by this pandemic, and I think, I think in many cases governments are trying to do the best with the knowledge they have. Again, we went from knowing nothing about this coronavirus at the beginning of the year, and to now where we have an operational vaccine, actually several versions of it that have been approved. So, in some ways I like to think that this has actually been a testament to some of the resolve and the capacity of our government, our scientists, our medical system, and even our production to get this vaccine rolling. So on that front, I'd like to say, yeah, I mean, have there been missteps? Absolutely.
But I still see these missteps happening, though. Like on December 26th, nobody is going to be out anymore because there's going to be, for example, in Ontario, there's going to be a province-wide lockdown. Yeah. That's something that's shocking. We're going back to a lockdown.
Right.
Other provinces are already in a lockdown. Maybe we're late to the table, but Ontario is 1/3 of the population of Canada, so it's something that I am concerned about.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing easy about these lockdowns for sure. I mean, I know lots of friends and family members who are small business owners and who are even people who work in small businesses as employees, and none of them have, escaped this unscathed. And I truly, like, it's been horrible, right? Now, that being said, can we manage to get out of this and to do something to build back better, as some people say? Yeah, I mean, and I'll go back to this. There has been a change in approach in that we see a lot of people around the world. They were shutting down airplanes as soon as they found about this virus, right? They said a week, Saudi Arabia, Gulf states, right? A week, we're shutting down all our borders.
Right. New Zealand was well,
I mean, New Zealand is like they've isolated themselves 100%, yeah, right? So they've done it their way, but I still think that out of this pandemic, we have learned a few lessons. Now, that being said, the cost for a lot of people and their mental health, huge. Absolutely huge, and can't be understated. I also don't want to understate the achievements that have been made in both governance and science.
So hold that thought, because I want to get back to the economic cost of this pandemic, and we're going to be back from the commercial break in just a moment.